there, folks, and welcome into today's video. Hope you guys are doing great out there as always. So today we're gonna go ahead and look at the public account, and I'm gonna tell you what stocks I'm thinking about buying and selling in this particular account and why. Also gonna tell you about some new stocks I could potentially add to this public account. Now, if you don't know the history of the public account, this is an account I started probably a little over 4 years ago, and we just built it and built it and built it from a few thousand bucks like a few years ago to now $1.7 million. And what I've done with this account, obviously had to make deposits over time, gotten gains on stocks, and then taken the gains or dividends received and just plugged it right back into new stocks essentially. And so it's been tremendous. I mean, just alone on these current positions, this is an account for profits taken out of different stocks I sold over time or dividends received. $965,000 worth of gains here. And so the account's doing really, really well. This is my most focused account in terms of like this one I take the most serious actually. Even though it's not my biggest account, I gotta say I take this one the most serious because this is an account that every single trade in the history of this account has been documented throughout its journey, right? And everybody in the private stock group gets to see every single move I ever make in this account. So I have to take it like to a much more serious level than any account. And yeah, I'm proud of the account. I'm really happy, and I want to share with you guys what I'm thinking about buying and selling here and some new stocks that I could potentially add. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy a video like this. Hope you enjoy kind of hearing my perspective on different stocks, how I think about these stocks, things like that. All I ask in return is that you smash that like button. That's literally it, guys. I appreciate you being here. Also, just so you know, we have a free 7-day trial going on for the private stock group right now. So if you've ever been interested in joining the private stock group, checking it out and seeing what it's all about, the private Discord chat, the course curriculums, the coaching, all those sorts of things, this is your time to check it out. Check out pinned comment down there, apply for that, and enjoy that, guys. I think you'll learn a lot. I think you'll enjoy it. And hey, if you don't want to be a member with us long term in there, totally cool. And if you like what you see in there and you think you're interested, then awesome. Join us in there long term. Alrighty, guys. So first off, let's talk about TSLA. So Tesla obviously is the crown jewel of this particular portfolio, at least as far as current stocks I have, right? We put $34,000 into the stock. It's worth $669,000. The crown jewel that is Tesla. This is a stock I used to talk about almost on a daily basis on my YouTube channels, and I used to get a lot of hate. People would be like, you nothing but a Tesla education channel, and all you do is talk about Tesla stock, talk about other stocks, and oh man, those were the good old days. But I was insanely bullish on the stock, and obviously my being insanely bullish paid off in a massive, massive way. Now, when it comes to Tesla stock, am I interested in buying the stock? No, I'm not interested in buying the stock. I mean, they're doing everything I ever planned on them doing, maybe even better, right? But let's be honest, the valuation of the company has flown up over the past couple years, right? We're pushing up against a $1 trillion market cap now. Now, is it possible that Tesla could be a $2 trillion, $3 trillion, $4 trillion company? It is possible down the road, but to get to those sorts of places, Tesla's going to have, incredible profitability. The company's a little profitable now, but for a $1 trillion plus market cap, it's not very profitable. So company would have to continue to have revenues skyrocket as I planned. I think that's going to happen, just bottom line. But they're also going to have to see the net income skyrocket over the coming years. That's what really gets you into that $1 trillion and multi-trillion dollar club, that net income. If you look at all the stocks that are part of that club, they're all profit machines. If you think about Facebook, if you think about Google, if you think about Amazon, if you think about Microsoft, if you think about Apple, all profit machines. And Tesla, with their gross margins, can definitely become a profit machine. But yeah, in terms of stock price, it's gotten pushed and the valuation's gotten pushed. So for me, it's just a hold right now. Tesla, Tattooed Chef. Tattooed Chef here, $222,000 in Tattooed Chef. The stock, it basically hasn't done anything for us thus far, and that's perfectly fine and dandy. I'm always willing to hold a stock for at least a year for it to not do anything, right? Tesla, that stock, I held that stock for about a year and it didn't do anything. It downtrended, it didn't do anything, and then obviously we see how that turned out. I'm not predicting that Tattooed Chef's going to ever get me an 1,800% return, but I think there's going to be crazy returns coming over the next 5 years for Tattooed Chef. I talk about this stock all the time now. It's basically taken the place of that Tesla stock used to be in, where I would talk about it all the time, right? And just insanely bullish on the long-term trajectory of that company. Some people don't see it. That's perfectly fine. I respect that. But at the end of the day, this stock will be a massive gainer in future years for us. And as of right now, I got I put 221,000. Obviously, it's worth 222, 1816. Am I interested in adding more shares in this particular account? Yes, not a ton more, because it is already a really big position. Remember, this is about the biggest I've ever made a position in terms of amount of money put in. So I'm interested in adding some more shares, but not a ton. Same exact thing goes for Corsair Gaming. So Corsair Gaming is a gaming and streaming player. Tattoo Chef, by the way, is a plant-based food play. And by the way, just real quick in regards to Tattoo Chef, plant-based food, that's a big thing that I think is going to be huge in the United States for a long time to come. I think we really started to kind of work through diets over the past 10 years and trying to figure out like where we're going in this thing. If you ever heard me speak about this before, basically from kind of like the 50s and 60s all the way through about 2010 or so, our country really got out of whack with unhealthy foods. I think we're still trying to work through that. Fast food on every corner, insane saturated fats, the calories just galore, and a lot of people just weren't educated on what was bad for them food-wise, and we just went off and became a culture of fast food and unhealthy food, right? And I think Tattoo Chef's just one player in the space that is going to be a total transformation of food, and hopefully get our health crisis in this country to a better level. Let's just put it that way. Corsair Gaming, complete opposite. This probably leads to worse health. No, just kidding. But when it comes to Corsair Gaming, gaming company, streaming company, obviously those industries that are huge and likely just going to continue to grow. And when it comes to Corsair Gaming, 7,000 shares here, $177,653 worth. We're down 22%. We're getting destroyed on this stock. Whenever I'm down over 20% on a stock, I just call it that. I call it what I see it. That's called getting destroyed on a stock. And let's be quite clear, we're getting destroyed on Corsair stock. Now, when Corsair is a multi-year hold, I think this is going to be a great gainer for me over time. Does Corsair Gaming have the type of returns long-term that I think Tattoo Chef's going to have? Not in my personal opinion. But is Corsair going to be a nice money maker? A double up, if not more than a double up type stock over the coming years? Abso-dang-lutely. Do I feel like I'm not taking a huge risk in Corsair Gaming because its valuation's already gotten pushed down so far? Absolutely. I definitely don't feel like I'm taking some crazy big risk. So when it comes to Corsair Gaming, it's kind of like Tattoo Chef in the respect that I can definitely add some more shares, but it's not like I'm going to build that position a ton larger. Revolve, RVLV, unbelievable gains for us in this one, 524%. When it comes to Revolve stock, e-commerce play in the apparel industry. And if you think about the one segment Amazon's had some trouble in when it comes to e-commerce, is really the apparel segment, and Revolve's just knocking out of the ballpark. This is a company that's just building into a bigger and bigger company, and I look at this one as also being a potential long-term buyout candidate for maybe a big dog company like a Google and Amazon, somebody like that. I hope it doesn't happen. Also, could be a Facebook buyout candidate as well. I hope that doesn't happen. But at the end of the day, I love the management team of that company. I love the vision of the company. I think the company has phenomenal growth ahead. And I'm a happy holder. Not interested in buying RVLV stock, though. Let me be very clear about that. FB Facebook. So done pretty well with us in regards to Facebook. 69,000 up 122%. This was a stock I started adding in this account, I believe, right when that account was somewhat new. I think it was 2018. And in that 2018-2019 time, a Facebook, Skyworks Solutions, Cruisy Doozy, Tesla was some of the ads back then. But when it comes to Facebook, I mean, this is a stock that I think should be up massively more than it is, to be quite frank. I mean, at the end of the day, I look at the valuation and it's just a steal deal. The one thing that frustrates me about Facebook is they always get caught into some drama, right? Some of it is their fault. Some of it is stuff that is fabricated and just, folks looking to attack Facebook for whatever reason. There's a lot of different agendas out there, right? There's agendas from different companies that basically have to do with ad spend, right? Facebook could be taking money from those companies, so they want to publish negative things about Facebook. Some of it can be truthful stuff that Facebook deserves to basically have against them. Some can be things that from certain political sides that feel like Facebook gives favoritism to this side or this side, whatever, right? And so anytime Facebook just always gets caught up into some drama. So that's a frustrating thing. So as far as Facebook goes, I'm probably just a holder right now. If you told me I had to buy or sell Facebook, I'm buying Facebook, though. Let me be very clear. Skyworks Solutions is a huge player in the 5G movement. If you look at the latest teardowns of, like, let's say the latest iPhones from iFixit, you're going to see so many Skyworks Solutions chips in there, it's not even funny, all right? And it's been a good gainer for us. Also, remember, this stock pays its dividends, and that does not even account for in that number. Very nice dividends from Skyworks received. And on my cost basis versus what the company pays out in dividends, it's actually a really, really nice yield. So I put $49,000 into it. It's worth $107,000 as of today. Skyworks Solutions, not interested in selling that stock. You know, kind of like a Facebook scenario where I'm just a proud holder of the stock. However, if you told me I had to buy or sell Skyworks today, I'm a buyer more than I'm a seller. And I think that's something that needs to be said. I think that's always an important question to ask somebody if they're holding a stock, right? Like, you got to think to yourself, okay, if I forced you to either buy more shares of that stock or sell shares of that stock, right? Like, what would you rather do? Okay, so I think that's really important. By the way, just so you know, if you know, the Walgreens position or my larger positions, those are all in my main private account. So, like, Tattooed Chef in my main private account is around $1 million position. Same thing with Walgreens. So I know some people get confused because, you know, this is a public account and my private account has the big dog positions in it. Dropbox, next one up here, cloud player, e-signing a documents player. Done very well on this one, $28,000 of gains, and we took big gains already out of this stock as well. Put in $48,000, it's worth $76,000 now. And like I said, we already took, I think, a nice 5 figures of profits out of this stock already. Dropbox, another one I'm just planning on holding right now. Now, if you told me I had to buy it or sell it, I would be inclined probably to sell it more than buy it, just for the mere fact that I feel like I could use that money into something like adding more Tattooed Chef shares or Corsair, for some stocks I like maybe a little bit better for the long term. However, I don't really want to part with this one. I like the diversity it adds to the portfolio, being a cloud player, e-signing and documents. You know, I'm not really that interested in selling Dropbox. So right now I'm just a holder. Upwork, 337% gain. When I looked at this one, I said, you know, this is a company that's in the freelancing economy. Is that going to get a lot bigger or a lot smaller over the coming years? A lot bigger, right? The TAM's going to continue to increase for companies like Upwork. And so put in 11,000. I should have put in way more. I'll just be quite frank. Put in 11,000. It's worth over $48,000 now. Very proud holder of Upwork. Very happy with the gains of that stock. And it's a stock I continue to think long-term has more upside. So, yeah, I'm just holding the stock, but playing it. Yeah, I'm up big on this one, obviously, but I should add more shares of it. I have this ultra-low cost base on this one, $1.25. I should add more Planet shares. It's been trading. Oh, man, I could have got some shares today at $4.20. That would have been the ultimate buy, $4.20. Man, that's just so perfect. But when it comes to Planet, this is a stock that's just been beaten down. Such an unbelievable long-term story here with this stock. I mean, there's not a story I hold that's more exciting than the Planet, other than maybe Tattooed Chef, but honestly, the Planet's probably even more of an exciting story. When you think about the TAM for this market long-term, it's ridiculous, right? Just a ridiculous TAM that's already built into the market. And when you think about all the stuff going to legal market over the next 10, 20 years, federal legalization coming, it's going to be a massive boom for the Planet and the owned brands that Planet has. It's like the retail opportunity is one opportunity. The owned brands is a whole other big opportunity. And so the long-term growth story at Planet's crazy. So yeah, proud holder of that stock. I should buy the stock, honestly, and just, you know, get rid of this $1.25 cost base. I do have a really big position. I don't call it a really big position, but it's a multi-$100,000 position in my main private account. I should build this into a 100K plus position, this account. Honest company. This is a company, diapers, wipes, makeup. I mean, they cleaning products. They have a ton of different products. Expansion company that I think has huge opportunity over the next decade in front of themselves to build this business bigger and bigger. A needs-based play, a newer stock for us. I want to build this into a really large position. I would love to build this into a 6-figure position over time, ideally. Yeah, proud holder of that one. Elf Beauty. Elf Cosmetics, whatever you want to call them. They're basically a cosmetics company. Gains have been insane for us, 307%, 728 cost base on this one, incredibly low. Took a ton of gains out of this one. Nice 5 figures of gains we've taken out of the stock over time. I continue to hold these shares just because I think there's, what if e.l.f. builds into a cosmetics giant over time? And the company's always had phenomenal execution, so I kind of feel like I just have to hold this last 1,000 shares. Needless to say, it is tempting to cash out, though, I will say that. Avant Brands, really, really small speculative company I hold that's in the Jack Jackson space, kind of like Planet. But this one is, basically they just make the product, okay? And they have some owned brands. And they're not a retailer. Now, when it comes to Avant Brands, huge potential long-term upside there if the company and Norton and all those guys, if they all execute, right? It does absolutely come with its risks. We're getting devastated on the stock as of right now. We'll see what happens over the next 3-5 years. I'm willing to, take a risk on the stock. Not a crazy risk, right? But I've taken a risk on it, and we'll see if it pays off. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. But I'm willing to put my chips on the table. Cruisy Doozy, a company I really like. They get so much of their revenues and profits from Apple. It makes it a little scary. It's in no man's land. Over time, I just got to take this last bit of profits. I don't know why I'm just holding it now at this point. I just got to cash that last bit of profits, take that $16,000 plus and go ahead and plug it into something else because this stock's just in no man's land right now. Also just have some cash laying around. I don't know if that's from dividends received or what, $817. So yeah, account totals up $965,714, up 122%, $7.53 million in the account right now. And who knows, over time it should build into $3 mil, $5 mil, and hopefully maybe even a $10 million account long term. Now let me talk to you guys about 3 stocks I'm thinking about potentially adding to this account, okay? The first one's Teladoc, TDoc. Done quite a bit of research into this stock. Now, I do have more work to do there, which is why I haven't bought this stock yet. However, what I have researched so far, I am actually liking in regards to Teladoc. The growth is pretty enormous when you look at Teladoc's growth there. And needless to say, when you think about the TAM of this market and you think about telehealth over the next, let's say 5, 10, 15, if not 20 plus years, like it's such a long-term exciting story. And Teladoc is a massive player in that market and should end up being the #1 player in telehealth long term. And when I think about it from that perspective, I think about a company that, man, could they have some big revenues and profits long term. So Teladoc, potentially an ad for the public account over time. Voyager Digital, another one. This is a crypto brokerage that wants to become a lot more than a crypto brokerage over time. I own this stock in my main private account, but I don't own it here in the public account. I think I should. It would be a nice diversification play to this portfolio. I don't own anything crypto related, and I don't own anything brokerage related. And I look at that and I think Voyager Digital would be a nice play. It's a high risk, high reward play. Stock's been trading at $9, $10, $11 recently. And I look at that stock and I say, I don't think there's a ton of downside there, but I think the upside potential is crazy. So the risk reward now at this point for Voyager Digital is quite interesting. The growth rates have been off the charts for Voyager Digital. So needless to say, VYVGF, definitely a potential add in this account. Next one up here, so it might be a surprising one. I would call it a stock that I almost see as a value play, and that's Sprouts Farmers Market, SFM. So Teladoc and Voyager Digital are growth plays, but Sprouts Farmers Market would be absolutely a value play. Company's trading at extremely low forward PE, extremely low trailing 12-month PE. As far as its business model, it's a grocery store, but it's not really a grocery store. It's kind of a little more of a cool place to go. Let's just call it that. It's not like what you would view a traditional grocery store as, trying to get things as cheap as possible and trying to get in and out as fast as possible, right? Sprouts Farmers Market, it kind of is more of the vibes like a Whole Foods, vibes of like a Trader Joe's that people actually genuinely enjoy going to and like take their time with and things like that. So Sprouts Farmers Market, a very interesting value play. And I like that it's not caught up into the commodity grocery plays like some others. So yeah, Sprouts Farmers Market, it could actually potentially be an ad for me in this particular portfolio. So those are 3 stocks up there, guys. Hope you enjoyed this. As always, going through the public account. Let me know if you own any of these stocks in the comments section. If you like the portfolio, if you don't, I'd love to hear from you guys. As always, you wouldn't hurt my feelings. Also, don't forget, if you want to join us in the private stock group for a free 7 days in there, check that out. definitely check that out. It's pinned comment down there to apply and join in there. And then if you love being in there with us and you want to be a member long term, sweet. I will greet you with open arms, and if you decide, hey, it's not for you and you're not interested in it, then perfectly fine as well. Thanks for joining me, thanks for watching, and have a great day.